And that's on. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Good evening. Well, actually, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is August 26th, 2020. Welcome to episode number 9 of J Money Talks podcast. We have this is this episode is going to be more of a serious tone, especially how everything has been going on, and this has been everything has been going on the past couple days, and this is something I kind of want to talk about because this one's going to talk about a lot of things, and to me, I have stayed quiet about a lot of this stuff, and people ask like, I haven't heard you talk about some of the protests, like in some of the earlier episodes. I haven't heard you talk about like any of this stuff. I'm gonna be real with y'all here. I try to not be political in any way, shape, or form whatsoever. To me, politics kind of bums me out a bit. To me, this is like one of the things why I don't like politics to begin with. And this is why a lot of this protest stuff has been going on, and why a lot of the things of like the response to Corona and everything else that's been why a lot of stuff hasn't changed much, or why probably America is practically the number one in cases, number one in like tests and all this stuff, why pretty much the entire world has practically closed us off and well, this is my reason why. And before we get into any of this stuff, before I go into any of this, not all of the things I will say in this, who knows how long this is going to take me, is not going to be entirely out of facts, maybe out of theories. But a lot of stuff is just me pretty much going with raw emotion and feeling. It's if you think some of this is what I'm saying is kind of wrong, or if you thinking you don't know what I'm talking about, I can understand if you pretty much get turned off by this at all. I'm just going at you all with just straight up facts and truth here. And truth, my belief of what I think is everything. And this is what I personally believe. It's just my honest take about about the rants, about these protests recently, especially what's been going on in Kenosha, Wisconsin, here in Louisville, with the Breonna Taylor cases, with the Breonna Taylor protests, and like a bunch of other things. To me, I don't go into this much, but in this particular case, way things have been like the past few days, it's going probably at a point where I might as well talk about it, and I might as well just bring it up. So, this is probably gonna be a continuous thing. So if there's a point I need to take a break, and I start drinking water, and I know it's unprofessional, I shouldn't drink water or anything in the middle of like a rant or something. But hey, my throat's gonna get dry. I'm gonna need some water anyway. So, yeah. Put this right here. Okay. So, this is one of the first things I'll talk about. This is pretty much the protest. One of the things I am trying, at least, that has been made clear pretty much by a lot of this stuff been going on, either with George Floyd protests, Breonna Taylor protests, the Jacob Blake Jr. protests, and all the other protests have been going on all across the nation and pretty much all around the world. And it's pretty much been clear that black people, African American black people, pretty much a don't want to get shot by police. Automatically just have this this race institutional form of racism or prejudice that cops give to black people, like, oh, very intimidating or very violent or all this stuff that makes us feel inhuman. And we want that right, like pretty much the right to pretty much a fair justice system and everything else. And what some police officers have been doing recently in terms of violence and everything else, they are not giving up that right. And if they are impeding those rights, those legal rights that's been going on by police, we want is some action either by the police departments themselves or by the government or by the local, state, or federal government to step in and prosecute the officers and go through the legal process. And if they are found guilty of some crime involving a suspect in some crime or something, then that officer is A, fired, B, have the pension that they get taken away, and pretty much, and if they ever get out of prison in any way, shape, or form, they're not allowed to be in any form of law enforcement ever again. That is what should be done. And that is something that needs to be happen. I think that's fair. One of the things is, I think if there is some form of investigation going on, I do not believe that keeping an officer under some form of administrative reassignment, aka desk work, is not right, because while investigation is going on, he's still working, he still gets his pension, he still keeps making money, keeps making sure his pension is growing and stuff. I believe that is not the case. I believe is if a police officer or sheriff or whoever did some officer involved shooting or somehow impeding his authority too much, I believe that during an investigation is ongoing, that officer should be in an indefinite suspension without pay, without any way of him building his pension, any way of him growing that pension. And to me, I know that sounds like, if he is found not guilty or absolved of any, or what he did was justifiable enough, then I can understand him getting them paying him back and letting any payments that anything that would have went to his pension go back. And to me, I know that's like the government loses money off of this and legal fees and all this stuff, but to me, I'd rather have that route go than have a route of him either be under desk duty or pretty much just be suspended from force for 3 months and still get paid. That is, to me, what I'm saying sounds more reasonable. But a lot of the cases is, it is, to me, one person, but there's always somehow one person or group that has this order, that has this, weird power, which makes no sense to me whatsoever, and that's a lot of, police unions that make this contract, which is probably basically somehow makes a way that either the mayor or city council or somehow, some way, you can't, do anything to pursue legal action over these cops. You can't suspend them, you can't fire them, You can't do any a lot of this stuff. This is the rules. This is what you can do with the police. And to me, that personally is wrong, because that is basically is, and you hear this, to me, it sounds like this policing saying, when it comes to our officers pretty much do anything involving citizens, you have no power on how to handle, like, our disciplinary actions. We have the power. And basically, most of the time, it's just a choice. It pretty much is saying, we see that this happened, we recognize this, and we're not doing anything about it. Y'all can go fuck yourselves. Basically, that's what you're practically telling, like, not only the mayor, you're not only telling that city council, you're pretty much telling that to the entire city. So that we have power, more power than the mayor and the city council. Y'all can suck our dicks, or whatever. It's just, to me, at a point where it's just like, this is like what's crazy about it, is that's how much power a policing has over people who are pretty much the government, that pretty much and they can't do, where government can't really do anything following this. And it's a process which is insane to me, and that's why a lot of officers never get tried for these crimes. And it's just, to me, mind-boggling. That is what is going on here. That's what's going on here with the LMPD. Why a lot of, with like LMPD and the city, why there hasn't been like so much transparency involving the Breonna Taylor case and everything else, and why I don't think the Attorney General is having an impact on this like decision. And I'm gonna get to the Attorney General in a minute. Trust me on that one. But that's what's going on with this whole like process, and it's like, this is what is frustrating to me, that like, if I'm the mayor, I'm like, listen, I have a right to these like files. I have a right to like some of these cases. I should have more of like a transparency about this, and I should at least have more role of least disciplining officers and stuff. And I know that's what things is. You are pretty much, and I know what you're thinking, like, and there's people like, and that's like what's going on either left or right, and it's like, that's what I'm like, people don't understand. You are the government. You are like the people who make laws. You are the ones who enforce the laws. You're the ones who enact laws. Like, you have the power to do something about this, and instead of you doing anything, you either A, blatantly ignore it, or B, you somehow just kind of just let it pass or move on and maybe make it a topic 5-10 years down the line. And this is something that shouldn't be like a slow process. Some of this stuff should have been done like instantly after some incidents. Like, after some incidents, it should be like nipped in the butt. Basically, that's what I'm going to say. It should be nipped in the butt. And right now, it is not. And that's what's practically, to me, a frustrating subject and a frustrating topic, discussing it. And it's just, to me, something that pisses me off a lot. And it's just frustrating. One of the things I will say is, like, what's going on is, like, a lot of decisions that have been going on, it goes on, for like the corona pandemic and like all this stuff, is pretty much something that could be settled if we all sat down and discussed. But somehow, like, we all have to like follow some type of like line. Is either if you think this way, that means you're left. If you think this way, you're right. And I'm like, there's got to be a way. You got to come into a middle ground here. There has to be a way of coming to a middle ground. And that's the thing. A lot of people don't want to like, talk about each other's ideas and see where is the middle. Where is the middle? And that's the hard part of why we can't get anything settled or finished up, and it's just like, what are we doing? Like, especially this is stuff that goes on in the state level. This is some stuff that goes on in the federal level. This is some stuff that goes on in the national level, and it's just a point where it's like, listen, like my thing about like some of the stuff going on with like the corona pandemic and like how they could have handled some of this stuff. People are like, why can't we do something? Why isn't no like? And some of these people are like, what should we do? Why would you guys have meetings and votes? That's how some of this stuff goes, and that's like, it's like, to me, I am like, one of the things, big things I will never understand is like like the Attorney General we have is a Republican by the name of Daniel Cameron, who is practically every lawsuit dude makes is against the governor and our state's governor, who is Andy Beshear, who's a Democrat, and a lot of the stuff he's doing is ways of helping out basically everyone in the state who's A, losing their jobs, or B, losing their homes. Because, one, a lot of us only got that $1,200 stimulus check, and then our unemployment is so backed up, we pretty much can't, hardly anyone could get any of their, like, access to try to get an unemployment check. Some still haven't gotten it yet. Some are pretty much have applied, and some are still waiting to get it. This is a process that's been going on for, like, months. And I'm like, how is this so difficult to process, like, in terms of, like, the child care stuff, the educational stuff, restaurants, bars stuff, mask mandates, and all this stuff. I'm like, what exactly do you want the governor to do? Like, what else is it that you're trying to stop? And that's one of the things about David Cameron is frustrating and pretty much annoys me to a point, is that you're focusing so much on every little action, executive action, and every single little bill that Andy Beshear is trying to make, that your one is the lead investigator of like this Breonna Taylor case, and you're practically wasting people's time and energy, and it's starting to frustrate more like the protesters. Like, why is more of these protests keep going on, and why are you starting to get more and more like violent in a sense? Because one, this man is supposed to make a decision, and instead every freaking day of like an investigation should be more focused on, he's focusing more on trying to challenge this action or challenge this law or challenge this, and I'm like, dude, are you supposed to be like investigating this Breonna Taylor case? Shouldn't you help make a decision that these officers should be fired or something of some kind, like, or some form of prosecution, or be at least recommend, like, if we found some evidence that these officers maybe at this point should be suspended and not without pay and not receive put any more money in their pensions, like, or some sort of way that it makes more sense, and that should be the case. Instead, we're pretty much just like, it's just like, that's one of the things about it is insane to me, and it struggles, and it frustrates the hell out of me, and it's one of the things I enjoy a lot. The next big thing is also the federal level, and this is like the one that's pissing me off a lot, is that everything about, I think every part of like government is bad. Am I voting? Who am I going to vote for? I'm not going to say who I'm voting for. You need to know who I need to vote for, who I believe stand for, or all this stuff. But it's like, to me, there's a lot of things in the left, the right. I can go in on Trump a lot. Dude is kind of a fucking idiot. Yeah, you can boast about how good the economy is, but look, 50 plus million people are pretty much are unemployed. A lot of small businesses are practically going to be gone forever. A good chunk of like McDonald's a good chunk of like corporations had to like at least shut their doors or close off stores to like cut off like to cut some of their like bleeding some of their bottom line off. The stimulus bill pretty much gave billions and billions of dollars to major corporations, and all we got, regular citizens, regular working class people, only got a $1,200 stimulus check. That's all we got. And it is frustrating to me that it is something that should have been done. I think one of the things I've heard was if you took all the giveaways that was given to corporations and stuff, I think it's something, I think if you divide it all up by person, it would be like $5,000, which is a lot of money, and would have helped out a lot. And a lot of people are asking, like, and one of the things about that's going on with this impasse with this whole, like, big bill and stuff, like, we need to, like, we can't give everybody $600 a month again, like, we can't go back to that stuff, because we can't give them more money. And I can understand that, because one of the things is, our minimum wage is horrible. $7.25 an hour, federally, still to this day. And you pretty much gave, like, what you gave is pretty much, and you're saying, like, well, people are making more money on unemployed. No shit, because understand, like, $7.25 an hour, and what you're giving them is, like, practically what is probably to them 2, 3, 4 times better than they would have made if they if they decided to go back to work. Instead of going back to their job and going back to work. Like, why am I spending, like me, why would I spend, now if I worked at like McDonald's or something, let's be honest, if I was getting unemployment checks, if I was working like at some small little restaurant or something, and it closed up for like the short time it did, and I'm getting like more money from that, more money from this, and from unemployment, because I understand, you're pretty much getting whatever you're making on your checks, plus the extra $600 a week. So it's an extra, so let's say let's say you work, or your job, you get $200, $300 or something like that. I'm assuming that. Let's say $300 a week. You add the $600, that's at least $900. In a way, you're making like $3,600 a month. A month. Compared to what you made, like if you worked as, compared to like whatever you're making as like, let's say yes, you're a waiter, let's say you're a server at like some small local diner, you pretty much get like the standard like waitress fare, and then plus whatever tips you get. Some cases you're not gonna get like a full tip or something like small. Some cases, some people give you a tip, some people pretty much not give you anything, and some of that stuff is pretty much, so you're pretty much making like at least maybe a couple hundred a week. If you take that amount, take the amount you're getting, plus the $600, like if you're like getting $3,600 a month, or more or less, something, or some kind of whatever you're making, that helps out a lot. That's better than what you would make. And I'm like, if I'm like, would I rather go back to work and still make like $200 a month, $200, like pretty much $800 a month, or I stay at home, get $3,600 a month, and I can still pay my bills, pay my rent, and have extra money left over? I'd rather take that money than go back to work. It was a whole lot better. I can do a whole lot more stuff. I can at least, you pretty much feel, you have a more sense of freedom. And that's what's going on, is like, that is one of the things is, you pretty much, this is what it means, it shows that, the employment, that the minimum wage thing needs to get raised. It is pretty much a thing that needs to get fixed, and a lot of the economy needs to get changed. And it pretty much shows like, oh, if the stock market falling and everything, it's but the stock market's rising and all this stuff. No, it shows that the stock market is technically bullshit. Because technically, it just shows that, hey, if you're rich, you're fine. But in reality, the working class is fucked. Is, in a way, fucked in a way where we're pretty much having a hard time. If you're we don't know if we're going to be able to recover and go back to the way we were, or we might be homeless and we're all screwed in life. And that's what's frustrating about this whole thing. And it's like one of the things is, the right is pretty much making this bullshit. Everything is fine, everything is good, we're making the economy good. And the left is pretty much like, no, it's not. No, it's not. And one of the things is, you know this, and instead of standing your ground and trying to at least get bulk up and actually tell these motherfuckers off, you guys are pretty much just kind of just staying the course and just like, okay, we'll just wait till we can wait till November, wait till let's just hope Biden wins. Hope everyone can go out and vote. We can all vote for Biden. We can get Biden in, and then we can make shit up. No. Some of y'all are pretty much, some of the shit that a lot of this response shit, and all the closures, and all the actions that people are doing, a lot of this stuff, and this is something I've heard yesterday, that this is all a way of pandering to at least their party lines just to get reelected. And it's just like, oh, yeah, okay, we haven't done a lot, but trust me, if you vote for me again in my next term, trust me, I will get everything done. And it's like, in this point in time, do I think there needs to be term limits in Congress? Do I think there needs to be term limits in, Congress, Senate, and all that stuff? At this point, yes. Because, listen, look, motherfucker, we gave you we gave 2 2-year terms. We voted you in for 10 years. Let's say this, if you're a representative, and if you've held that seat for 30, 40, 50 years, and people are starting to realize you ain't doing jack shit, we're pretty much telling you listen, okay, we'll vote for you one more term, because we probably don't have anyone to oppose you yet. But if you can't get shit done, we are going to make sure you gotta make some shit done. Try to get some shit done. Or else we are going to find someone who will fight. Who is going to fight and helps us with our best interests in mind. So, that's what needs to be done. I think there needs to be some term limits. Some mayors, like me, Mayor Fisher, some of the stuff he's doing is probably just some steps that is, I don't know how Mayor Fisher's handling this local stuff. I know this. I don't think he's going to get reelected. I think Mayor Fisher's the mayor, Greg Fisher, who is our mayor of Louisville. Is he going to get reelected? Is he planning on doing reelection? Is he planning on moving up to something higher in government? I don't think so. But he's probably done in a couple of years. But one of the things is listen, if you're gone in a couple of years, that's the point. You want to make the most shit to get the most shit done as you possibly can. You get the most shit done. And instead of twiddling your thumbs, watching the city burn and pretty much have more and not do much of anything, let this police union make you your bitch. Make you their bitch. You actually grow a set, stand your ground on these motherfuckers, and tell them, hey, these officers might need to get prosecuted in some way, shape, or form. Some of them need to face some form of disciplinary action. If you want to go at it and cause some little civil war or something in this in our little city, little proxy war for it, fine, so be it. If that's what should be done, do I think he should be resigned? Not really. I think so, because he's failed to be transparent about a lot of this shit, especially a lot of this stuff that's been going on recently. do I think he should be fired because, no, I'm not saying that because I'm part of like the group of like Republicans that are doing this that wants to do it because it's like a party line thing. But I agree, like some of it, he has to go. Some people have to go, and some people, like that's the thing. Like a lot of mayors in for liberal or conservative. Like, listen, do I think, oh, we switch, flip party, flip the Senate, flip the Congress, or flip it? Like I don't know who if there's a left or right. It should be someone who is like at least going to think neutral enough where we need to at least stop with this party line shit. Is like, listen, I'm not gonna say we should vote somebody because we're raised, or I think vote for them because they think like I do. Like everyone is not. I say this. Everyone is not left or right. It's just one or two key issues that make you left or right. That's one of the things. Is to me, I kind of lean left. One thing I will say is this: do I think we have right to guns? Kind of. But I think we need more background checks. I say this: I'm okay if you have guns. I'm okay if you got knives or whatever. I just feel like this: if you have a violent background or some form of mental illness, you honestly shouldn't have a gun really to begin with. And that's something I think that should be done. And I'm not saying anything that's wrong here. I mean, I think besides, do I think we need to tax more rich? Yes. But to me, I'm like, okay, how much can we tax them? Or how much? But do we have to pay less? Or do I? To me, my dad said this a bunch. This is someone, and he's worked with like some like the most rich, and he's pretty much been like a chauffeur and a bartender, and served pretty much a lot of the most rich, affluent like people in the entire city of Louisville over the years of his life, and one person he worked for pretty much told him like if everyone paid like say 10% of their taxes, everyone each paid 10%. Like if you made, so it basically is this: if you made 10 million, you should donate a million. If you made 100 million, 10 million, a billion, 100 million, 100 billion, 100 billion, and like, so let's be honest. If Jeff Bezos donated 10%, I mean, dude makes like what 100 something billion. All we're asking him is like, hey, you need to give up like 10% of your money, put it back in the economy. That should be fair. Now people are saying like, okay, well, but it's like, well, what if I donate to Jerry's? To me, like, look, to me that's his way of like doing the tax shit. Listen, I say this: if you don't, you gotta take out that some kind of loophole or something. It's you gotta give 10% or you're facing jail time for tax evasion. So that's to me the thing about that. So you might say I'm crazy for that, but I'm spitting out some straight facts to y'all. That's what I think should be happening. And I think this: if you make like me, I make like probably 17, 18, 19 grand. I mean, I pretty much mine bank out is like small, so I'm not saying anything like I'm not gonna, but hey, that's at least some small portion. But at least I'm giving 10%. Like, if you give like 10% of your own money to tithes at church, I mean, like the Lord says, you give 10%. Why not do it with the government? So that's what I think, and I think it's fair. I think it's a fair, reasonable thing. It's a reasonable rate, and I think it makes sense. That's a number I can wrap my head around. So that's why I say it's like we need to cut off those tax. I think tax workers need to be cut off entirely. That's what I pretty much believe in. One of the biggest things I will say is the whole. And I say this: Trump is a lot of stupid, a lot of wild shit. I say this: if you can somehow, if I say this, I think a lot of shit could be a whole lot better if dude was off Twitter and not tweeting some shit. But another thing I will say is this: do I think Republicans have the better? Do I think that someone like Biden is better than Trump? Not entirely. The dude is kind of in a way somewhat senile, and is kind of offered like the crime bill, which is one of the big things why we have the largest prison population in the world and all this shit, and recidivism rates and all this other stuff, is also because of him. Now, someone like Kamal, I think he's not really taking over the show. It's going to be Kamala. Let's be real. Kamal's going to have more power than him. He's just Biden's the figurehead. Kamala is the puppet master, technically. And he's going to play more of a role in this. She's going to play more of a role in this. And I know what you're going to say is, what do I think about her, like, politics and all this about her politics? Look, to me, listen, if you smoked weed in the past, listen, if you had some bad experiences with weed, look, why impede people's right to smoke weed? I say this, it should be legal. I say this, a lot of people who are in jail for offenses like marijuana should be out of jail right now completely and have all the rights restored, including the right to vote. And a lot of this stuff is like, and a lot of things I think she should be guilty for is at least apologizing and regretting that she played a role in trying to at least have more cases with like trying to withholding evidence and all this stuff because she wanted to win cases just as much as anyone else, bigger than anyone else. That's another thing. So a lot of cases is she has a lot of. I say this: both the Democrats have like the Democratic Party kind of has skeletons in their closet. Some of them gotta redress it. Probably just needs to do is redress it, own up to it, and then maybe honestly, maybe people will vote for him. I'm guessing, but other than that, it's nothing really that's going to pretty much make me. Am I going to vote? I'm pretty much going into this with my gut instinct, and I'm pretty much just going to vote for who I think makes more sense, and that's the lesser of two evils, whoever that is, at the end. At the end of the day, but do I think will it change anything? I don't know, because right now, the way I see it is going to end, this whole election is going to end one of two ways. Option A, Biden wins. These Trump supporters who are the most radical and most crazy motherfuckers who have like guns and shit is going to start probably a second civil war just out of the sheer willpower that they do not believe of going back to the way things were. That pretty much if you say all this stuff probably makes you a little bit racist and makes you a little bit xenophobic and all this stuff. Some people are probably Trump supporters and are just thinking, kind of likes the way he just likes to talk it like it is. I can understand that, but look, there's a time and place where some shit kind of will offend people, and it's just, to me, I don't know how much to say about that. It's just, that's a process that needs to be discussed. To me, a lot, or B, Trump wins, pretty much left, pretty much a lot of us, probably millennials, probably people my age and all of others, are probably just going to start a second civil war because we don't want to spend 4 more years with this guy. Let's be real. To me, this is all a point where eminently going towards the second civil war. This is one of these why I'm probably saying this, because the way the protest has been, it's been going more violent, and it's been more violent and more active and stuff, especially what's been going on in Kenosha, Wisconsin. And if you don't know what's going on in Kenosha, Wisconsin, it's that young man by the name of Jacob Blake Jr. was shot 7 times in the back. He was trying to break up a fight between, his ex and his current girlfriend. He tried to break up that fight. Police came in, got involved, and there were 3 police officers in the scene, telling him to go to at least get on the ground or at least stand down or hands up or whatever. And instead of him doing that, he decides to go to his car. And instead of like detaining him, which should have been easy because there are 3 officers and 1 guy, I'm probably sure you can take him down and at least hold him on the ground and put handcuffs on him. So instead, they shoot him 7 times in the back. A couple shots end up being, I heard, in the stomach and liver. He ended up severing the spinal cord and shattering his vertebrae. Basically, the man is now paralyzed from waist down. And how did the city of Kenosha handle this? They handled it with a lot of riots going on. Pretty much, one Department of Corrections building being burned to the ground. People throwing stuff, hanging out with cops. Buildings getting burned down. Like, a lot of the city has been at a point of like showing anger, and a lot of stuff came to a head where pretty much a group of I'm gonna say radicals who support the right wing. A lot of radicals pretty much have showed up last night and pretty much try to like defense doors and pretty much assist the police in any way, shape, or form by arming themselves with weapons and guns and stuff. Now, what happened last night? There was an individual, a young terrorist who pretty much ran with a rifle and pretty much shot at a couple of protesters, shot one in the head, and then as one tried to jump at him and try to at least take him down, take his weapon away from him, he shot another kid in either the chest or stomach area, which I've heard, and he shot another person in the arm and ran away from the scene. And this is some 17-year-old, I'm not gonna say young boy or a young man, but pretty much a 17-year-old domestic terrorist. That's what he is, pretty much. A 17-year-old domestic terrorist. And instead of like the cops, trying to take him down, or pretty much try to detain him or some kind, or at least help to tend to the protesters, they pretty much just like high-fived the kid, offers him some water, told like these right-wing militiamen, hey, we appreciate you guys' help and all this stuff. And I'm just like, it's gotten to a point now, like, the police is pretty much siding with right-wing militiamen, or some of them are right-wing radicals themselves, or maybe right-wing radicals themselves, or it is a point where we're practically going towards a point, like, this is starting to get to a point where we're dealing with sort of like some fascist, I believe, we're going towards a state, like a more fascist state, and this is getting to a point where we need to at least everyone, at this point, I'm not saying to all protesters you should start carrying weapons, but at this point, it might be necessary for you to carry weapons now. It's getting to a point where we're probably going to have these protests that usually be peaceful turn to like violent riots, and pretty much there's going to be a point where the streets are about to turn into battlefields. Like, our streets are going to be turned into battlefields. some buildings are going to burn to the ground. We're probably about to get to a point where a second civil war is going to happen. And I don't want that to happen, but it feels like a part of it is going to. And I don't want it to happen, but it feels like it's going to. And it's frustrating to me that this has all happened because a lot of us pretty much tried making we pretty much got to a point where everything has gone to a point where we can't, if you think this one way, you're this. If you think one way, it's that. And somehow no one has ever tried to at least meet up in the middle and try to at least discuss a more compromise. That's how we've pretty much started the founding of this country, by compromise. And now we can't do anything to compromise. And if you at least try to discuss something with people, then they try to refute you in any way, shape, or form, where they don't even need to have an argument or discussion with you. And it's somehow frustrating as hell, because basically you just want to just say stuff just for the sake of saying stuff, and it makes no sense in any way, shape, or form. And this is why we're probably screwed. I'm not saying to me, all this stuff shouldn't be like a left or right thing. A lot of this stuff shouldn't be a black and white thing. It should be what is right and what is wrong. I say that, and this is my thing. Do you believe that George Floyd's murder is justifiable? Is it right for that officer to put his knee on his neck for 9 minutes over a counterfeit $10 bill? Is it right that the police officers in Kenosha, Wisconsin, the free police officers in Kenosha, Wisconsin, shot Jacob Blake Jr. in the back 7 times, right or wrong? Is the 17-year-old domestic terrorist that shot at protesters, killing 2 and wounding 1, right or wrong in his actions? And another thing are the police officers that went into the home of Breonna Taylor to do a no-knock raid over a house that a drug dealer who is already in the prison was it worth them to shoot 8 bullets at her and leave her for dead for 20 minutes and then arrest her boyfriend who pretty much shot at the police officers in self-defense, who is also a registered gun owner? Was what the police officers did right or wrong? That should be the question here. Some stuff is wrong. A lot of the stuff mostly is wrong in any case, shape, or form, and it shouldn't have gone this far. To me, I think what a lot of the officers done was wrong. I believe some of them should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law allowed, and should face whatever consequences they get. I'm not going to say if you think all of it is justifiable and right, that's fine. You're entitled to that opinion. But in my opinion, you are probably an idiot. And you refuse to accept probably some form of reality that everything that is going on shouldn't be happening at all because of an unjust and unfair system. It is just to a point where I'm just tired of it. I'm hoping we can fix this stuff. And I'm hoping we can move on with our lives in a more peaceful, just world. And if it has to come by a civil war that shouldn't have, that practically ended 150 years ago, which kind of already established that black people have rights, just like us. They are allowed to live like us, and it should be, that should how this should be. Period. In a story. Now, if we have to run this back all over again, 160, almost 160 years later, well, I have no words for this. And that's how this is, if this is how we're pretty much have to run it back and reshape everything again, well, I guess so be it then. It's yeah, I'm done with this. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna move on to a new segment. I'm gonna take me a break. I just need a minute to we'll go on with some new stuff. We're gonna try to at least get away from politics and stuff. I'm probably gonna try to talk about some sports or something, like some basketball or something outside of this. And this is something. I'm gonna go ahead and take a break. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere, folks. If you got any idea, anything from this rant here, this 50 plus minute rant, please leave a comment. And if you guys are going to comment and you guys are going to debate about this, please keep it fair and please keep this regular, normal. Please, let's not start more wars and stuff and create some situations where it's just too much. Please. Just don't, okay? Alright. I'll be right back, y'all. Hey y'all, J Money here from the future. I realized my dumbass forgot to unpause the video recording to talk about the Sixers getting swept by the Celtics and everything else. So you're pretty much getting to when I get to the point and when I just realized after my dumbass forgot. So enjoy. Take it away, past me. Take it away. Give me a... Okay, so I guess I'll go to my point because I realized this is what happened, and now I can't recover some of this stuff. So yeah, we're gonna go. Let me move on. Biggest thing is for the Sixers, they should have set this. They should have, when they drafted him, they should have tried to make sure he build up his outside shot. And in this season, should have been the point where you kind of encourage him more, try to take the outside shot more. Because he can guard any point guard. Because a lot of the average point guard is 6'3", 6'4", probably in the NBA, I believe. So you have a height advantage. You got the wingspan advantage in wingspan and everything else. You can guard, you can pass, you can rebound, you can do stuff off the ball. I feel like if you can convince him to shoot outside, you got some big men in Joel Embiid and in Al Horford you acquired this offseason. You got big men who can rebound, work inside, and go back inside. But in terms of Embiid, this is something that I was questioning. That I don't know why Brett Bowen told him this. And this is why Brett Brown told him this, and this is why I'm pretty much questioning that team, is that, hey, like, Joel, we know you can, like, lay it up, dunk, you're a big, powerful, 7 foot tall center, but instead of you doing that, let's see if you can work on your working on your perimeter shooting. Are you motherfucking kidding me? Like, you're telling a center who's practically, the primary role of a center is practically to rebound, lay it up, go in the post, do more pick and rolls, which works out a lot more better if you think about it. Would help out a lot more. It's have more better pick and roll plays. And they would be able to get more opportunities. And they get more opportunities at this game. More opportunities. And a chance at this. And this to me was frustrating to me. Because one thing about that, what was going on with, like, Joel Embiid was frustrating. And this is what's frustrating to me was that, this is one thing that happened earlier in the season, before the restart, was this game. They had a game in Toronto. This is against the Toronto Raptors, and this is in Toronto. This is the first, keep in mind, this is the very first game that the Sixers are playing against the Raptors. This is the first game post Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Semifinals, where Kawhi Leonard hit a buzzer beater on you to send you home in a game-winning shot at the end of regulation, at the very last possible second, a buzzer beater. And in the first game you played, you decide to tell your big man, hey, instead of you laying up or dunking or pretty much doing what you do as a normal center, tell him, hey, try to shoot more like perimeter shots and more like these shots from a perimeter and more or less shots in like, or more higher up in the post, or more in the high post. Or shots in the high post. What you're thinking? And guess what? Joel Embiid came out with 0 points in that game. 0. This is that is what this team is. And it was in a nutshell with Brett Brown. Okay? And I will say this, Brett Brown is a good coach. Number one, he's a decent coach. He was a former assistant with the Spurs. He was with Greg Popovich. He knows the system. He knows the game. He knows the fundamentals. But dude, why are you telling your center, your big man, to shoot more perimeter shots? That's why I feel like he deserves to get fired. Do I think it's Embiid's fault? I don't know. People say Embiid plays a role in this. Yeah, because why are you, a 7'1" center, doing these perimeter shots? Why are you thinking you're a power forward? Why are you thinking you are a small forward or a shooting guard? You're a center. Do your fucking job, which is rebound and fucking do layups and dunks. That's all you got to do. Literally. That is all you got to do. If you can't do that, why the fuck are you playing? to me, at this point, like in 7 years, this is the process here. At this point, you guys you guys had this. This is the best team you guys have. Philly, this is the best team Philly has for a championship. And what happens? You wasted it. So to me, y'all are a sorry team. And to me, if there's a rating system on how to rate how sorry a team is, yeah, the most is the 10. But 10 is honestly too lenient on y'all. I can't give you a 10. That's too lenient on y'all. What you guys are is officially the sorry gods. Okay? That's what this team is. The Philadelphia 76ers are the sorry gods. Period. End of story. I am, whoever is the coach of this, hopefully you can tell Ben Simmons to shoot more threes, try to shoot more threes, and tell Joel Embiid to be a fucking big man. Because at that point, if you can get them to have a role and a system in place where they actually know they roll and do the right thing, you guys might win a championship. But if not, trade Ben Simmons to Cleveland, get their top 5 pick, and start the process over. Trade Joel Embiid to whoever needs a big man for their first round pick, whoever it is, maybe the Timberwolves, and start over. Because at this point, you're probably not winning a championship with this core. And this is a team that has maximum potential to win a championship, and Brett Brown failed. So hopefully you can find a coach who can maximize that potential. But until then, it is just pretty much a, right now, Philly, you guys' window might be slamming shut. This window is starting to close, and I don't know about you, but you gotta do something quick. Hopefully you find the right coach. And hopefully you guys can get back into the system. Get back into a championship picture. Because right now, doesn't look like it for you. Doesn't look like it for you. Alright. We're going to talk about football in a minute. I'm going to take a quick break. Hopefully this time I'll remember to record both the video and the audio at the same time and not miss a beat. I'm probably now pissed that over 8 minutes of recording pretty much was not recorded. God damn it. So, yeah. I'll be right back. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to talk more about football. We're going to talk about football, especially what's been going on in Baltimore and regarding Earl Thomas and all this stuff. And we'll probably talk about a few more things. And then we'll probably wrap this baby up. Don't go anywhere, y'all. You're watching the J Money Talks podcast, and you're listening to J Money Talks podcast. Like this. And there we go. Okay. We are back, ladies and gentlemen, with more of the J Money Talks podcast. We're going to talk next about the Baltimore Ravens and what's been going on recently. So training camp has been going on. Pads, they're now working pads, and this is a big one. First big one, big thing is looks like their first couple games is going to be. It looks like the first game of the season is going to have no fans whatsoever. So basically, Ravens Browns is going to pretty much be basically what a normal Browns game is on an average Sunday. No fans. Throw all my shots out there early. So that's what it is right now. There's no fans. Hopefully, I think there's 2 weeks, the Ravens play the Chiefs on Monday Night Football. Maybe they'll invite fans. That point in time, they might invite fans. Who knows? But as time comes around, we'll find out more about this whole thing later on. Now, one of the big things is that the Ravens now going through a bigger roster change. Now, because one of the big things is the Baltimore Ravens have decided to release Earl Thomas. Reason why he's being released is because he on Friday he ended up getting blown on a pass play in the practice, and he got frustrated, he got mad. Chuck Clark kind of got in his face a bit, like, I don't know, like, yo, what you doing, bro? And what happened was Earl Thomas kind of was upset about it. Things got heated, and Earl Thomas punched Chuck Clark in the face. What happened next is he got dismissed from practice. The next day, he was not allowed to come back to practice. So, was not allowed to come back to practice. One of the things that happened was that Earl Thomas, next day, he got on his personal Instagram and he kind of tweeted like his drive and passion and all this stuff. Yet, one of the clips that he showed on his Instagram was the play in question, one of the plays shown in training camp, which is a bad call, especially the case of this is early training camp. What you showed was one play, practically a play on not only in the playbook for the offense, but also a play that's probably in the playbook for the defense. And if the Ravens play that means if a team sees a similar scheme to what is shown, they might use that to their advantage. Know how to take on that offense, or know how to handle that defense. Like, that is something you shouldn't show whatsoever on that photo. So Ravens got a little frustrated with this. They had to give some thought. They were on Sunday morning. They decided we are going to try to move on from Earl Thomas. It was going to be a case of either them trading him or going for releasing him. One of the big things was, can they release him without giving him any guarantees with his contract? Because of him punching Chuck Clark in the face can be conduct detrimental to the team. And the Ravens did. They released him with that conduct detrimental to the team. He got released. They pretty much decided not to give him his $10 million. One of the things I say is, people like Stephen A. Smith pretty much said that Earl Thomas should be paid his $10 million regardless, and I'm like, he punched a teammate in the face. Antonio Brown said some stuff pretty much get out of his contract. I think if AB called his general manager a cracker, which is fucked up in and of itself, I think Earl Thomas should not get paid for punching a teammate in the face. And one of the things is, one of the big rumors was that they were going to give more playing time to Deshaun Elliott, who was the safety that played in place of, I believe, either Chuck Clark or Earl, when they rotated him. And Deshaun Elliott is a second year player, and was pretty much proving himself good, and he was proving he was capable of more playing time, and it looks like that he's probably going to be the starter, one of the free safety for the team. And I think it's good to hear, because right now it is a big thing. One of the big things about this is, yeah, like Earl Thomas started like pretty much pretty much put it on himself there. I don't. Do I think he's going to play for another team? Absolutely, because there's rumors that the Cowboys are going to try to get him. Another thing is now the Cleveland Browns are now interested in him, and I'm like, of course, the Browns will want him because let's be honest, they usually after a while get our scraps anyway. So hey, if Cleveland wants him, go ahead. Probably won't change much when it comes to you facing us. So I said this with Cleveland. Go ahead, take him. I don't care. So that's one of the big things. Another big thing that was going on with Ravens camp was they talked about that Lamar Jackson. He was not at either Saturday and Sunday's practice over the weekend. The Ravens said that it was, oh, we're just resting him, just in his arm, and oh, he has this soft. And one Raven said was, oh, he has this soft tissue injury, and it's like this soft tissue injury. The reporters pretty much wanted to like get more information on this injury, and what John Harbaugh said, like, hey, it's early in training camp. We know we're not going to disclose injuries to be super transparent to injuries. We know how y'all be. We give y'all an inch. You're going to run a mile with it. So, that's what happened. Later on, I found out it was like a small groin injury. And right now, it was just like... But right now, like, Mark came back to practice Monday. Played practice like normal. And, yeah, that's one of the things about it is right now, it's a small injury. I'm thinking it's not going to be anything too crazy. Yeah, do I think the Earl Thomas thing would affect it a lot? I mean, in terms of, like, having, like, a veteran in that on there, yeah, it's kind of, the backfield, it's going to be tough now because we pretty much now are going with a younger, we're going with a younger safety, but that helps out. I think that helps out a bit more in terms of speed and stuff. The next big thing is another thing is right now it's something that needs to be done with. Ravens had a workout with Des Bryant. He didn't leave with a contract. One of the things was I surprised they didn't sign him. I'm slightly surprised, but not too surprised. To me, it was going to be. I didn't think they were going to pick him up. It was just like, I mean, it would have been good to have him picked up in maybe as like more of a veteran, have a veteran in a group of young receivers, play more of a mentor role there. But yeah, I think we were good enough on. I think we are good enough on offense as is. I think one of the things we'll figure out later on is one of the big things that has been establishing right now is probably right now. One of the big things is that we are getting from storylines is Hollywood Brown is probably going to be the deep ball threat, which is definitely the big case there. A lot of the young players, young receivers we got is proving themselves pretty well. In the biggest one is Miles Boykin. He is stepping up, and this is his second year. He is proving he's trying to prove it. He's like, hey, I'm 6'3", I'm 225. I got some hops. I'm planning on making some contested catches and make them, and that's something that needs to be said. I said, good on him. Do what you gotta do. Make some crazy good big catches if we need to too. And that's a big thing. Another thing is in the running back department. The biggest thing that's been going on right now is probably the establishment that J.K. Dobbins is proving himself to be a great running back for Ravens. good at like doing the backwards passes, shovel passes, and has that explosive speed. And this is something that is needed. One of the big things is Ravens are all about speed, and I think this if J.K. Dobbins being with Ravens is scary stuff for defenses, and that's a big thing. And I think in terms of defense, so far we're getting some good stuff from like big thing is like Calais Campbell, Derek Wolfe being in the front lines. That is going to be someone that they are definitely going to be able to stuff the run. This is going to be in like the passing defense. I think we're kind of set now. Tavon Young is back. We got Marlon Humphrey, Marcus Peters in a good set of corners. And everything is linebackers. Patrick Queen is proving that he is the linebacker. He is the new linebacker on the block. He is going to be the new big Mike that we needed since Mosley left. And I think this is going to be a big thing. I'm hoping this is I think we're going to be in for a great. Let's just say this is a great Ravens team. I think this time we are probably. I think we have a chance to win the Super Bowl. I'm not gonna say we are going to win a Super Bowl. We gotta earn that chance, just like we did last year. We gotta earn everything, earn a playoff berth, win the division, try to get first, pretty much get first overall, get home field advantage throughout the playoffs. And this time around, when we have a players playoff game, we gotta be able to. Understand this ain't just a regular season. This ain't a regular season game anymore. This is playoffs, and it's at home this time around. We going to execute. We gotta make sure we can execute, and this time we gotta make sure we're ready for every team's best shot, no matter who it is. It could be the smallest team. It could be the Titans. It could be the Chiefs. It could be anybody. This time, we gotta go back. We're back here. We prove we earned the number one seed. Let's prove we deserve this number one seed, and we deserve to be the contenders for the Super Bowl. So run it back. That's what the key is. Run it back, and that's gonna be the big thing now with the whole Ravens thing. So yeah, that's what I think is gonna happen this season, and I'm excited for it. Sadly, the first game is probably not going to have fans, unfortunately. Hopefully, by the Monday night game against the Chiefs, there's fans back. I'm not going to go to it as much as I want to. They're probably going to limit the fans to, like, say, a third or 20%. So, probably not. But, I'd probably be in Baltimore. Try to go see it at a restaurant, sports bar, restaurant, or something. Somewhere to watch a game and be close to the action. But other than that, I'm excited. I'm ready for it. And, yeah. Till then, we're going to go ahead and take another break. I think this time, we're going to talk about at least, probably a couple other things. Probably a quick hot takes. And, yeah. We'll move on. Until then, I'll be right back. You are listening to the J Money Talks podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere, folks. Alright, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, with the J Money Talks podcast. We're going to be talking about some, I think the next topic is, I think it's not a topic, but more of a take on this. And this is, involved probably what's been going on a couple of days ago. I think, either yesterday or 2 days ago. One of the big things is a big celebrity actress by the name of Bella Thorne decided to make an OnlyFans. And in their first day, this woman made $1 million in her very first day. And I'm just like, okay, I don't know how much her OnlyFans is. I'm not gonna look. I'm not gonna find out what her OnlyFans link is and to figure out how much you have to pay for that. But to me, that's a little excessive to me. To me, it's insane that a celebrity an actress is making $1 million off of practically you pretty much nudes and some other things. And my thing is, to me at this point, I kind of believe that sex work needs to be legal. Needs to be legal, in my opinion. Because one thing that I'm going to say is this. If you're someone who makes, it's like, you can make money through OnlyFans. This is like the one time you can make videos, any videos, pretty much porn, but charge money for it. You can make videos on Pornhub, and you get paid for it, some amount. I don't know how much. Or any porn site you want, and make money off it. This is something that makes no zero sense to me, and it's one of the things that's weird. And I think it's a policy that needs some change, or makes no sense. You can pay, but the moment you pay somebody, a random woman, or man, or anybody who's like transgender, like say $100 for practically to hook up for 22 minutes, for like say 20 minutes, let's say 20 minutes, that is somehow illegal. Are we really going to fall? Is this like a rabbit hole that needs to be all? And no offense, I can understand, like, you don't want children to do this stuff. You don't want, I mean, what if it's your daughter or your sister or something like, I don't want my sister doing OnlyFans, because she just got married like a month ago. I don't want her to do that. If I have a daughter of my own, yeah, I don't want her to do it. I don't want her to do it before she turns 18. But after she's 18, if she chooses to do porn or does OnlyFans, I can't really control that. I'm like, look, if you want to do this, go ahead. Just be careful. Stay safe. Don't do, if they offer you any drugs, just say no. Just say no. That's all I'm going to say about that. But that's the thing. One of the things I'm wondering is, like, and this is the thing about feminists that is somehow stupid to me. Y'all want to say my body, my choice when it comes to abortions. But when it comes to women wanting to have sex with men for money, that's the line you cross. That's where you draw the line there. And to me, and here's the thing about men, and here's the thing, I'm saying this because I will testify this on public record. In the past, I have hooked up with escorts, and with escorts before. I have been a patron in the past. I do, and I still currently do. I do it once in a while, once every couple weeks. Because here's the thing, and I'm saying this why I do it still, and that's because it is probably easier for me. It's easier for me to pretty much not have to do any, like, some of this middleman stuff. Because to me, it's pretty much, if the girl's willing to do this, is just as long as you pay some money, then it's practically okay. Like, one thing, I'm not gonna say you shouldn't do it. I'm not saying you can't, you're allowed. I'm not saying you should do it. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. But the main thing is this. I understand a lot of guys who do, like, pay for escorts and pay for OnlyFans and some of this stuff. They don't have to worry about trying to. It's like work. It's easier not having to do a lot of this work, doing like a lot of work or stuff like that. Like if I decide to go out every weekend for a month, trying to pick up girls and stuff. I mean, yeah, paying for drinks, I'm buying drinks, I'm talking to this girl, pretty much trying to convince her, and pretty much, let's say I spend like $40 on alcohol, pretty much trying to get this woman to hook up with me, and I do that 4 times a week, 4 times a month. That's at least $1,660 I spent in 1 month. In 1 month, where I could use that exact same money and I could just pay a girl for like an hour. Use that 160. You save it like, instead of 160, you go to a woman, you call up a woman or text a woman like, hey, I'd like to spend like an hour and I'll give you $160. We can hook up for like an hour, and you don't have to. And guess what? You meet, you do your business, and you leave. You walk in, or she walks into your place, or comes to you. You give her the money, you do your business, and then you leave. It's all you gotta do, and it's much simpler and easier. Now I get it. A lot of stuff is too much. You don't want to deal with like pimps and all this shit. And that's the thing. It's going to be, yeah, there's some sketchy stuff. That's why I do think there should be brothels and stuff. And I think it makes it easier for a lot of people. And I think it should be a way, like women should profit off sex in some way, shape, or form. Because I think it should be a thing where they should have to pay taxes and should pretty much have it be if they want to make that a career, like if they want to make, their business, their pussy, then that's fine. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Plus, let's be honest, if it wouldn't make it cheaper, I don't know. I don't entirely know. I mean, but it makes the process a little simpler, a bit easier. Like, one of these is, like, women, they're holding, like, some, like, these pimps. Let's be honest. It's, to me, like, the thing about, like, massages. Like, and here's the thing, like, one of the things about it is, you can pay anybody to do anything anything. You can pay somebody to clean your house. You can pay somebody to mow your lawn. You can pay somebody to cut your hair. You can pay somebody to give you a massage. And here's the thing, you're practically naked when you're getting a massage. Like, if a woman's getting a massage by a dude, what's stopping them from them using their fingers down there? And what's stopping the woman from giving the dude head? Blowjob. I mean, that's the thing. Like, if I were to get a massage by a woman, I have an erection and she notices it, what's stopping her from sucking my dick? Or giving me a hand job? And what's stopping me from pretty much taking her clothes off and having sex? It's there. It should be legal. Like, to me, I know there's a lot of legal stuff. I think there's a lot of things that needs to be done, but I think at this point, I personally believe that tax for money should be legal. Am I going to continue doing this overall? No. I mean, one thing I know is I pretty much want to have a family, want to have kids, and live a regular married Gene. But one of the things is this: if I marry like say, someone who does porn or someone who does some escort stuff for money, I'm not gonna stop her from really doing it. I'm like, if that's your job, if that's your profession, I'm okay with that. I'm more or less. I'm starting to feel like I'm more open to like open relationships, and it's not some weird simp shit or some I like being cuckolded or some shit. No, it's just, hey, if this is what you like to do, you like hooking up with other guys. Hey, do you? I mean, but if we were together, don't tell me from like one hook up over if I hook up with other girls or you're hooking up with other guys. Don't. I'd rather have it an open thing. Only thing I should say in this rule, and this is personally me, if I'm pulling up to your house, I get front door. If you got ever do coming in, you gotta tell him, hey, my boyfriend coming over, he gets front door, your choice is either back door or window. And if she lives off like the 10th floor of an apartment, well, sucks to be you, motherfucker, because you ain't getting front door. You either going out through window or back door. Take your choice. Choose how you want to die. You can die by jumping off into a dump. Hopefully, but don't worry. I'll make sure that day is the day before trash day, where that dumpster is quite full. So that way, when you jump off, you don't really die. You have some type of cushioning. So, I'm a kind of guy, okay? Don't worry. But that's the thing. And that's the same thing with me. If a girl comes over, and hey, I'm like, I'll tell the girl like it is. Like, hey, like my main girl coming over, she comes in through the front door. So you gotta live through back door or window. So you gotta leave either the back door or through the window. Take your choice. And that's how our thing's gonna be. That's how it's gonna be like. And I just think, to me, it's just like, at this point, if an actress is gonna make $1 million pretty much selling nudes, and here's the thing, it's cool if she sells her nudes. She's selling nudes on OnlyFans. There are some simps out there. And one of these is, and I think that's good for her, because now she has power over her nudes or any videos that gets leaked or any videos or anything. Because Belleborn actually, like a couple years ago, actually had some dude like hack into her cloud in her Apple or iPhone or in her cloud, and told her like, hey, I'm gonna leak these unless you send me money. And she's like, yeah, fuck you. Leaks her own news out there, so that guy doesn't have the power anymore. And that's the thing. And to me, that's something that needs to be done, because now, if someone tries to leak anything that from her OnlyFans, one, they can be prosecuted for illegal distribution, and that is good. She now has that power, and OnlyFans can helps her with that. So to me, it's like, that's why I think if people can make nudes and sell their nudes, and sell videos of them having sex for money, or them doing any sex for money for OnlyFans, and that's the only way we have to do it, that's fucked up. Because I think at this point, like, if people are willingly want to have sex with you for money, like prostitution and all this stuff, I think it should be legal at this point. Because at this point, you realize some stuff you can pay somebody to give you a massage. I understand, you're naked. What's up for taking 1 or 2 steps ahead? Taking another step or 2. And then you get that happy ending. And that's pretty much, that happy ending is involving either A, receiving head, or B, I'm busting in the masseuse. So that's the thing. It shouldn't be anything wrong with that. And that's why I'm like, at this point, it needs to be something that needs to be legal. And this is my it's a hot take on this one. So we'll move on to this. That's one hot take. Let's move on to the next hot take. To me, for people who are talking, who are all about acting crazy over the girl, the AT&T girl, guys, like, y'all need to chill the fuck out, okay? Like, y'all need chill the fuck out. Like, listen, I get it. I've seen the photo. I get it. She has some large breasts. They are plump. They are luscious. But there's a point where there's a limit to what you call, like, but you call breasts milkers? Like, dude, what in the fuck is wrong with y'all? There is a point. You guys gotta chill. I'm for real. Listen, I'm just saying. I look, like, I see girls, understand, at the gym and other stuff, and I do take glances, especially at the gym. Some gyms, there's some girls I look at, some girls I go see. There are some pretty looking girls. Okay, and it's especially when we're doing shit like squats and shit. Let me say, I don't try to look. I try not to glance. Sometimes, Alice, I sometimes do it in between sets because I'm trying to get a chance to catch my breath. I'll look around and next thing you know, I'm seeing this fine, next thing you know, I'm seeing a fine chick, fine ass lady doing squats with wearing nothing but some leggings or some booty shorts and like shit, her testicle are poking out the training bra. Like, look, we see it. It's just I'm like, I don't want to. I'm not trying to see it and try to be thirsty as hell. I mean, I'm trying to at least focus on the workout. I'm trying to focus on making these gains. But you will lose. But when you see these girls out there like a fine, juicy steak on a plate, you want to indulge in that buffet, but you do not try to. You keep it to yourself. If you remember, if you have some you're probably going to have a mental image. Me, I will have some mental images. I'm thinking of some shit I would do. Some primal male shit. Some wild shit. Some shit you can find on a porn site. If you want to know some of my porn history, some of it, let's say, is great. Pretty much some dominant male primal shit here. Okay, so it's just some cases like, yes, but here's the thing, you need to have some self-control. Like, some of us need to have some self-control. Like, I get it. I get it. It's quarantine. I get it. You're at home. Yes, you haven't been social in a while. I can understand. But, guys, bro, if you gotta express some of that shit, don't express all of that shit in the public Twitter sphere, okay? Public social media sphere. In social media. In public. Understand? Companies can, if you're trying to get a job, companies might see that information, see your social media posts. Heck, I'm probably sure if you try to apply for a job at AT&T now, they might pull up your social media like, yes, we have a thing you talk about our spokesmodel, our spokeswoman here, and pretty much about her large breasts, and calling them milkers. Was this you? Like, y'all gonna be that dude in the be that one dude, like, like, you going you already, y'all screwed. Like, this is another thing, I'm like, you need to chill. Like, do I have some dirty thoughts? Yes. Like, literally, a bunch of thoughts every day. And heck, I think it's because I pretty much see porn a lot. At some point, I'm probably gonna have to clear out the fucking files and clean out the gutter a bit. Clean out the gutter a bit. I mean, there are some, like, I don't say this all the time. Besides, there are some things, like, if I had a chance to, like, listen, like, to me, I'm a nerd. Like me, like video game characters have video game characters, anime characters. So people are ripping on this character in this one anime that came out quite recently called Yusaki-chan Wants to Hang Out, and it talks about this one main girl who's 20 years old. She's a college girl, and one of the things about her is she is like 5'1", realistically 5'1", and she has some huge tits. And everyone blew up their mind because it's like, oh, this is an unrealistic body proportion. And I'm like, my friends, I've seen girls who are tiny, and they got some huge tits. Let's be real here. There are some girls who are tiny, and they got some huge tits. Oh, let's be real here. Like, let's be real here. Let's chill out here. Okay? Yet, everyone's going to rip on that. Yet, somehow, Netflix decided to release a trailer of some show called Cuties, which has a bunch of 11-year-old girls twerking and shit, wearing scantily clad clothing. Like, what in the fuck? Like, that's like, everyone's blowing their mind on this on practically something that came out, that was made in Japan, created in Japan, but when something is coming out in stateside, no one wants to say shit. So, it's stupid. Like, y'all are stupid. Like, y'all need to get your head out of your asses. That is stupid. Use your common sense here. This is gonna be a long. This is gonna be a long one. So I'm gonna take this. And here's the thing. And here's the thing. Do I enjoy girls with large boobs? Yes. Do I like a girl who has a large ass? Yes. Guys, like, here's the thing. If I could hook up with any character, real or fiction, from any fictional universe, anything in fiction, who would it be? To me, Chun-Li from Street Fighter. Because she got because, look, I'm a man who likes legs, and I'm just saying, she has some thick ass thighs. Look, if I had an opportunity to spend an hour literally going in, clapping cheeks with this woman. Listen, and me, if you want to know me when it comes to sex, look, I enjoy, enjoy going down on women, okay? I understand something. I know if I go down on that girl, realistically, I know that she on my neck. And I know the moment I can make that take that girl to Space Mountain, I already know I am going to die via Loki a triangle joke. Is it wrong for me to say this? Yes, it's fucked up, but is it all worth it? Oh, hell yes, son. Yes! Okay? Worth it! Woo! Okay. Oh, God. Okay, I'm just saying, I want y'all to know, this episode, I'm pretty much trying to purge the system here. I need something like this. This is a purge to the system here. Some shit you gotta clear out. And I'm just being real with y'all. To me, a lot of people need to chill out. I do understand, like, I say this, do I think women being sexual and all this stuff is too far? Yes, but there's a part where some people gotta try to separate the fiction and reality, and just calm, and need at least a minute, need some help. I'm just saying, I already know when quarantine ends, we're probably going to have a baby boom at some point, because I know the first thing when this quarantine ends, we are all ready to unload the clip on some bitches. On some bitches. And I already know this. And I'm probably sure there are some women that are ready to receive full clips. Receive the clip. Receive. And I'm just saying, it's gonna be a crazy part. It's gonna be crazy. I'm thinking when this quarantine ends, it's going to get crazy. And I'm just, gosh, I just needed to say that. Some things have to be left said. Sometimes you can't bottle it all up, but hey, I already know this. If any of y'all feel offended by what I'm saying, hey, my apologies. Understand, if you're over the age, if this is probably for people over the age of 18, I probably have to age restrict this on YouTube. But I'm saying this, if you're over the age of 18, this is safe. If you're not the age of 18, you probably don't want to hear some of this stuff. But hey, we know some of y'all kids lie on there, so do your thing. But yeah, so yeah, that's how I feel about this stuff. And okay, I hope you guys enjoy this podcast. We've been doing this for almost a good 2 hours. I feel pretty good. I feel pretty calm now. I feel like everything's now out of the system. Purged out of the system. I feel perfectly fine. Oh, I'm still.
I need to get something.
Can you come back? Can you come back in a few minutes? I'm trying to close out the show. Close out this.
Yes, go ahead and close out.
Jeez, I'm like, God. My apologies. That was my father was trying to get something in this room, and I'm like trying to finish this up. So I guess I'll go ahead and finish this up. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'll be back next week with more episodes, another episode, and I think this will be the 10th. That'll be the 10th one actually. So we got a big one. So I think I'm probably gonna do is try at least next week. Probably have some friends over and we try at least do like a group thing. We just all talk about a lot of stuff going on, and I'm thinking this one might get a little wild and a little crazy. So like this one. So hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm J Money. Thank you guys for watching and for listening, and I hope to see you guys at the next episode. Take care, stay safe, and spread peace and love, y'all. That's all I gotta say about that. Peace out, y'all.